Corporate refused to give me an emergency radio to save pennies, so my malicious compliance cost them $250,000. I'm a freelance structural consultant. I get brought in on large commercial projects for specific phases, then I leave. I've done this for 11 years. I know how sites run. This particular firm was good. Collaborative culture, competent project leads, genuinely decent people at every level. When I joined the project in the spring, I asked one straightforward question during my site induction. Would I be issued a permanent access pass, or would I need to sign in daily as a visitor? The site manager checked with facilities and came back with an answer. Contractors at my engagement level don't receive permanent passes. Visitor protocol only. Daily sign-in, escort required past the security barrier. That was fine. My scope was clearly defined. My hours were standard. I had no reason to expect anything would pull me onto that site outside agreed working hours, so I treated it exactly that way. I didn't list the site's direct line in my contact details. I didn't carry a radio. I signed in each morning, completed my work, signed out each evening. Clean and simple. For 4 months, everything ran smoothly. Then came the foundation pour. A pour of that scale requires continuous oversight. The structural specifications I had signed off were precise, temperature controls, pour sequencing, settling intervals. The site team had the documentation. Both the project lead and I had reviewed the method statement together and signed it off. Everything was ready. The pour began on a Thursday evening. I was home, offline, as agreed. Early in the process, a junior site engineer misread one of the sequencing intervals. It wasn't catastrophic on its own, maybe a 2-hour correction if caught fast, but the team on site didn't catch it fast. They assumed the specification itself was the problem and started adjusting the pour rate to compensate. That was the wrong move. They needed me. Nobody could reach me. I had no site radio. My number wasn't on any emergency contact sheet because I was a visitor level contractor and visitors don't get added to emergency escalation lists, so they kept adjusting, trying to fix something that wasn't broken by changing things that were. That's when it became a very different problem. By midnight, the pour had to be stopped. By 2 in the morning, the decision was made to break out and redo a significant section. Structural integrity couldn't be confirmed without it. You can't negotiate with concrete once it sets wrong. I arrived the next morning, signed in at the visitor desk, got my sticker, waited for an escort, and walked onto a site that had been in crisis for 8 hours. The project lead met me at the barrier. His face told me before he said a word. We couldn't reach you, he said quietly. I know, I said. I didn't have a radio and I'm not on the emergency list. Visitor protocol. He looked at me for a long moment. We needed you at 11 last night. I understand that, I said. But I was never set up to be reachable at 11 at night. To his credit, he didn't argue. He pulled me straight into the debrief and we focused on the fix. The remediation took 3 weeks. Breakout, repour, cure time, re-inspection. The project timeline shifted. Knock-on delays hit the fit-out contractor, who had mobilized on schedule and was now sitting idle. Liquidated damages started accumulating. The total cost assessment came in later. I heard the number secondhand from the quantity surveyor. It was significant. Well into 6 figures when you added the remediation, the contractor downtime, and the delay penalties. The project director called a lessons learned session. He was measured and fair. He asked me directly why I hadn't been reachable. I asked at induction about access level. I said, visitor level contractors aren't on emergency contact lists and don't carry site radios. That's the policy I was told to follow. Silence around the table. Did anyone flag that your scope included critical overnight works? He asked. Nobody answered. Did anyone consider updating his access level for the pour phase? He asked. Still nothing. He closed his notebook, looked at the ceiling briefly, then back at the room. We saved the cost of a contractor pass, he said, and we bought 3 weeks of remediation. Nobody said anything after that. The policy changed the following month. Consultants signing off on critical phase works get temporary escalated access for those specific windows. Site radios. Emergency list inclusion. It takes about 15 minutes of admin to set up. I was asked if I'd share my personal number for genuine site emergencies going forward. I said yes. I didn't want a team struggling through something I could have prevented, but the policy itself is what needed fixing, and now it has been. Sometimes the most expensive decisions are the ones that look like they cost nothing.